What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode number 107 of the Anthony John Amos podcast. I'm really excited because this is the first episode of season numero dos of this podcast. And this year I've decided that I'm really going to focus on transformation. I have received some feedback that a lot of people really enjoyed the Sunday sermon edition of this podcast. So I'm going to continue to release those Sunday sermons every single Sunday, and for the guest episodes that I do on Wednesdays, instead of really like focusing on how to do this or how to do that, and of course I'm going to extract that when I'm talking to guests, but I really want to dig into how have they transformed their lives? Like, how have they shifted their identity? Like, I want to get into what inner work have they done and how has it impacted every single aspect of their life and business? Because I feel like there's a lot of great podcasts out there talking about digital marketing and online business strategies, and there's just not really enough of them that are like digging deep into the inner working of things. And I know I have the interview chops to like really pull this off. So moving forward for the second season of this podcast, that's when we'll be bringing you transformational stories, transformational topics that's going to help you level up every single aspect of your life, from parenting to marriage to shadow work to psychedelics to, I don't know, like identity shifts inside business, leadership advice, and more. That's the direction that I'm taking this podcast, because I've found after doing this for more than a decade now, like our outer work, the strategies, the tactics and tools, they're built on the foundations of the inner work. And if we don't do the inner work and we only focus on the external work, it's only a matter of time before we burn everything to the ground. So with that being said, let's get into today's topic: be still and find your path.
Welcome to the Anthony John Amos podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amos. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are, so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. Now, before we get into today's Sunday sermon, I want to let you know about a free training that I've put together for you. Like, most business leaders feel a sense of inescapable pressure and don't really know how to convert their stress into fuel. And as a result, few people achieve the power that's found in true freedom. Now, this training that I've created, it gives you a process to access limitless ambition, embody higher potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. And you can get instant access to that training by going to trainingwithaj.com. There's no opt-in. There's nothing like that on that page. Simply go to www.trainingwithaj.com and you'll find the training immediately available at your fingertips. So head on over there today. So with that being said, let's get into today's topic. I took some time off over Christmas holidays, and it really helped me realize like how worn down I had actually really become. I mean, 2020 was a crazy year for a lot of people. And yet for me personally, I chose to like keep my head down and stay focused. And as a result, I created an incredible year. I moved back to Dallas from Europe. I launched Project Shift, which is like our signature transformational online experiential program that's digital. We've had nearly 50 people go through it. Every single person that showed up and played full out has had life-changing results that they're crazy. They're like mind-blowing. I built 4 other marketing courses. I up-leveled my marriage at a relationship in Missouri. I even hired a parenting coach, and who would have known that hiring a parenting coach would have led to breakthroughs in marriage, but I'll tell you it does. And my wife and I, we bought a home on 1.25 acres of just like this incredible land here in Argyle, Texas, with these beautiful trees and these beautiful gardens. We completely bought this house. We gutted it. We renovated it so it feels like us and what we wanted to create. I wrote my first book. I wrote close to 40,000 words. That book is scheduled to drop towards the end of January, I believe, maybe early February. I'm still working with the publisher to figure out the exact timeline of its delivery. It's called Unstoppable Beacon. I'm super excited about that book. I brought on my first team member last year. Her name is Pearl. She's amazing, and I wouldn't have been able to do all of the things I did without her help. I created more than 100 podcast episodes. I helped 2 clients create a 7-figure year. One landed at like 1.3 million. Another landed over 3 million. I helped another client create his first 6-figure year. I helped a client stop drinking alcohol. I set up like SOPs for our business, so we have the structure for scaling and leading the team. And not even to mention all of the fitness stuff. Like I did, I don't know, 10 5Ks or something like that. I did the whole couch to 5K thing. And then after the app is like 90 days or whatever it was, or 8 weeks. I don't remember exactly what it was. Then I was just like, I'm going to continue running 5Ks. And then I got bored because I was like, okay, this isn't a challenge. So then I started doing X3, which is this weightlifting band thing. And I completed a 90-day challenge with some guys on that. And I did like a whole lot of fitness stuff. And 2020 was just like an insane year of production for me. It really was. And I really feel like looking back, like I gave 2020 everything I could give it. Now, the problem was by August of last year, I found myself completely depleted because I wasn't really doing anything to reset myself during all of my production. Like here I was just giving and giving and giving and giving. I was creating and creating and creating and creating. Like I created a whole lot of things with a whole lot of output with very little input. And as a result, the last quarter of 2020, it just felt like work. Like it just felt like work for the sake of work. Like every day just being like, I'm committed, so I'm going to do the work. And to be honest, like even this podcast, every episode felt like I was just checking off a box by the end of the fourth quarter last year. I was like, well, time to do a podcast. Check off the box. Like I'm committed to getting it out. I told myself I would do 2 episodes for the entire year. Come hell or high water, it is done. And it was for me. Now, you may have never noticed this or felt this about the show, yet that was my experience. And Christmas break helped me to see that if I want to continue creating at the pace that I did in 2020, I have to ensure I'm going to take some time to hit the pause button, to be still, to create some inputs for me. Now, I'm not talking about like daily meditation or writing a one wheel a few times a week. That's what I do. Like those are great things. Like, but for me, those are just like maintenance things. Like I can't really get through my week without meditation or writing a one wheel, doing some fitness. Like those are just maintenance things for me to maintain my power, my certainty, my energy levels. But they're not real inputs. They're not inputs that feed my soul and create inspiration that fuels my creations. Now, maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you're finding yourself giving and giving and giving. Maybe you're finding yourself like it's almost like everyone around you seems to be taking and taking and taking and taking from you. And I'm here to tell you that ultimately you train the world and those around you how to treat you. If you want the world to give you space, it starts by you giving yourself space. You know, I see so many entrepreneurs who get stuck in output. It's like they believe in order to achieve their big dreams, they have to run 100 miles per hour. And look, I get it. Nothing worthwhile is created while sitting on your ass. Like you have to work. There's nothing wrong with work. Yet I want you to understand the quality of your output is only as good as the quality of your inputs. So you can either try to force results and burn out in the process, or you can choose to take some time every week to create an input that fuels and nourishes your soul. So let me give you a practical example. In 2020, I ran hard for 11 months and 1 week. And by the time the holidays were in sight in December, I was so tired. Like I had nothing left to give. And as a result, I took the last 3 weeks of the year essentially off. But the question is like, how much more could I have created if I would have given myself permission to schedule a 2-hour float session once a week or every other week throughout the year? Maybe, possibly, I wouldn't have felt drained coming in the holidays. Maybe, possibly, I would have had more energy and capacity to be with my family and my loved ones during the holidays. Like I know going into this year, into 2021, I'm going to make sure I have inputs that nurture my soul every single week beyond my daily maintenance things. And my friend, I'd encourage you to do the same. In Psalms 46 verse 10, it says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." Now, to be still means to stop striving, to stop fighting, to relax. And what if when it says, know that I am God? What if that's a paradox? And what I mean by that is like, yes, there is a God, there is a consciousness greater than you. By being still, you know there is a God, a consciousness greater than you. And also, what if the I am God, the knowing of I am God, is also the knowing of that you are the God of your creation? What if by being still, by stop striving, by stop fighting, by relaxing, what if by being still, you are the one who will be exalted among the nations? What if you are the one who will be exalted in the earth? I want you to think about that for a second. See, most people, they run around like a chicken with their head cut off, attempting to sprint to their desired destination because they are worried that they're not going to make it. But what if they understood this wisdom shared in Psalms? What if they understood and embodied the paradox to be still and know that I am God? The God bigger than you has your back, and the God that you are is you willing to do the work that's required, and the knowing of the thing that you're called to do is done. And what if in that stillness of the paradox there, that is the place where power to create your reality joyfully is found? These are just some musings for you to try on. You know, I used to think that I always had to effort my way. I thought if things were hard that, well, I just needed to work harder. And the more that I play this game of scaling my business and creating connection with my wife and my daughter and honoring my purpose of why I'm on this planet, the more that I find power in the paradox. The more I realize, like, if I want to produce at a high level, then I must create time to be still. Time where I'm not a father, time where I'm not a husband, time where I'm not anything, time where I just am, time where I'm honoring the God, the consciousness greater than me, and also time to realize like I am the God of my universe. And in that place, I connect with a God way greater than me that gives me the wisdom, the clarity, and the guidance and the inspiration to actually be able to produce things at a faster rate. And my friend, this is a very counterintuitive lesson. It's been a very counterintuitive lesson for me to learn, for me to integrate. And so my invitation for you this day is this. How can you create time for inputs for your soul? Like, even though your mind tries to convince you that you don't have the time, are you willing to realize that's nothing more than the voice of your inner critic, the voice of your ego, simply trying to keep you playing a small game, trying to keep you running the same bullshit loops because it's comfortable with the level of stress that you carry? And how by creating time for things like going to a float tank or a massage or simply sitting in nature, whatever it is that nourishes your soul, like how much more powerful production could you accomplish? And how much more joy could you experience if you gave yourself permission to receive the nourishment of your inputs? Well, my friend, that's all I have for you in this episode of the Anthony John Amyx podcast. If you know someone who needs to hear this episode, send it over to them in their DMs, screenshot it and share it on social media. Send them an email, a text message, whatever you have to do to get this episode into the ear holes. Also, keep the 5-star reviews coming over on iTunes because that is what helps get the show found by more people. That way they too can break through to a whole new level of freedom, purpose, and success. So thank you so much for being here today. Until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amyx podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamyx.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.